Hey everybody, and welcome to the first round NHL playoff preview and predictions. I'm going to start in the Western Conference. You have the number one seeded Vancouver Canucks facing off against number 8 seed LA Kings. Obviously, the big story for this matchup is the pressure on the Canucks. They made it to Game 7 of the Cup Finals last year, only to lose to the Bruins. They have some really high expectations on them this postseason. A lot of pressure too, so we'll see how they can handle that. This first round shouldn't be any trouble for them. The Kings aren't that strong of a team. Vancouver won the President's Trophy. They had the best record in the NHL. You can't deny that this is a very talented team. You have both Henrik and Daniel Sedin, two offensive weapons, some of the best players in the league. Then you run down the line with Burrows and Kessler, great in the postseason. Then you got Bieksa and Willie Mitchell on defense, big, strong, physical guys. And obviously Roberto Luongo in net. And a very reliable and tremendous backup goalie in Corey Schneider. So they have some pretty good depth. We'll see how far they can go, but definitely they're taking this first one in 6 games. Moving on, the number 2 seed St. Louis Blues are taking on the number 7 seed San Jose Sharks. St. Louis has been a big surprise this year. They didn't make the playoffs last year. They have been winning in dominant fashion this year. That's all started by strong defense and strong goaltending. They had probably the best goaltending tandem in the league with Yaroslav Halak and Brian Elliott. So these two netminders will take them far in the postseason. That's your only way to go far. Actually, is with strong goaltending. You won't do it otherwise. They have solid defense too. They're big, they're physical, they're mean. They'll hit you. They'll battle in the corners. I'm liking St. Louis in this matchup. San Jose just doesn't seem they got the fire. They have been they've been shaky these past couple months. Haven't really built up a lot of confidence and any good winning streak or record going into the playoffs. So I think San Jose is done early this year, and for that reason I have St. Louis in 5. So moving on to the number 3 seed Phoenix Coyotes versus our very own number 6 seed Chicago Blackhawks. And big story in this one is obviously the health and condition of Jonathan Toews, the captain of the Blackhawks. He is supposed to make his return on Thursday, but you never know with these concussion symptoms. It can be pretty pesky sometimes. Other than that, Phoenix has had the best record in the NHL since February. They're pretty red hot right now, going to the postseason. So it's not something the Blackhawks should, it's not something it's not an opponent they can just roll over. Definitely not. It's going to be a long, hard battle. If Corey Crawford plays like he did against Vancouver last year, the Hawks will take it. And like I said, Jonathan Toews has to be playing for these guys. I mean, he's the captain. He's the heart and soul of the team. The Hawks won't make it far if he doesn't come back. So hopefully he does, but nonetheless, I do have the Blackhawks in 7. I just think we're a better team. And last but not least, the number 4 Nashville Predators versus number 5th seeded Detroit Red Wings. This could very well be the best matchup of the Western Conference, in my opinion. First of all, they're both Central Division opponents, so that makes it a little bit more exciting. But 2 very strong teams at home too, and that's an interesting thing about this matchup is you have the Red Wings, who are the best team on home ice in the NHL, but Nashville is pretty good at home ice too, and they have their home ice playing in front of their fans. But so logic will tell you to go with the team with the most uh, games at home, which would be the Nashville Predators in this case. But I would agree with logic, but also would take it a step further. I just think Nashville has that. They just have a spark in them. They're hungry. They've been consistently been going further and further and deeper in the playoffs every year. They're even stronger this year than last. They got Pecorini in goal. They have the best defensive tandem in the league with Shea Weber and Ryan Suter. They're deep defensively. They're strong. They're big, physical, and they just acquired Andre Kostitsyn too. He knows how to put the puck away. I'll tell you that. Um, and also Alexander Radulov. If you guys watch this series, look for him. He's going to be a game changer. He is what will make Nashville win this hard fought series in 7 games. Um, as far as the Red Wings go, Howard, he is not really. He's not really that proven in the playoffs. Obviously, the Detroit team is. They're deep. Uh, they have a bunch of playoff experience. Um, Datsuk Zetterberg, look for them to, make some good plays and to contribute. Uh, I don't know. I just think they're a little too old. I think that because Nashville has this home ice advantage, they're going to take the series in 7 games, and we'll see how far Nashville goes from there. But I definitely think it's going to be a good series, good matchup. But Nashville in 7. And all right, now moving on to the Eastern Conference, we have the number 1 seed New York Rangers versus the number 8 seed Ottawa Senators. Uh, First thing to note about this matchup, you have a very strong, gritty, physical team in the Rangers taking on a lackadaisical, how do we end up here, Ottawa Senators. Um, it's got to go to the Rangers. They're too strong of a team. They're too deep. They have, Callahan, Gaborik, Del Zotto. You got Mark Stahl on defense. You guys, it's this well put together team. You got Henrik Lundqvist, who's a Vezina Trophy candidate, one of the best goaltenders in the league. They've been playing strong all year. Great leadership, great coach. Obviously, the home ice advantage too in Madison Square Garden. That's huge. But look for the Rangers to win this series in 6 games. Next, we have the Stanley Cup defending Stanley Cup champions, number 2 seed Boston Bruins, taking on Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals at number 7 seed. I gotta go with the Bruins here, mainly because, well, they are a better team than the Caps. They're a very, they're not super. They don't have any superstars, but they're. So you would think how did they even make it that far last year? Well, I'll tell you because they have Zdeno Chara, the biggest defenseman in the league. He's their captain, very strong defensive. It's a huge presence on the ice. Just can take over a game in the snap of a finger. They also have Tim Thomas, who was just phenomenal last year in the playoffs. But they just have grinders. Milan Lucic, David Krejci. They have guys that will just go hard and won't stop. So I think they'll take this series. Another thing that factors into it very largely is the fact that Washington was without their number 1 and number 2 goaltenders. Thomas Vokoun is out with a groin injury, and Michael Neuwirth just injured himself in second to last game of the season. So not looking too good for the Caps. Yeah, they do have a lot of scoring power, but I just don't think they'll be able to do it without the goaltending. They're putting a third string guy in there, calling him out from Hershey Bears, AHL. Miracles can happen, but I just don't see it. So I see Boston winning in dramatic fashion, dominant fashion in 5 games. Okay, next we move on to the number 3 Florida Panthers versus the number 6 New Jersey Devils. I'm calling an upset on this matchup. I mean, the Devils are a better team. They're seeded lower because the Atlantic Division is stacked. I mean, you have Rangers, Flyers, Penguins, and the Devils. Um, and Florida won the Southeast Division, so that's why they have a higher seed. But the Devils are just a better team. They have 10 more wins. They have Martin Brodeur in net. They have great leadership in Zach Parise, their captain. They have Jamie Langenbrother, Patrick Eliash, still going strong. And Ilya Kovalchuk is one of the top scorers in the league. Uh, and I mean, Florida's just in their rebuilding process. They're not going to last long. They're not deep. It's an exciting year for them because they made the playoffs, and I'm glad they did. Um, but the Devils are just a better team, so I have the Devils in 6. And finally, in my opinion, the best matchup of the first round, the number 4 Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the number 5 Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah, this is this is gonna be mayhem. This is gonna be battle royale. I mean, these two teams hate each other. Just absolutely hate each other. The coaches get into it. The players are always brawling. It's just a very physical game each time these two teams match up. I mean, these two teams go at it, and it's going to be a great first round matchup. So we'll start with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Arguably, well, it depends on how you put it in perspective, but with Sidney Crosby, I would say they're the best team in the league. Deepest, definitely, for sure, down the middle. That's very important too, having depth in your center position. Because what if you put it into perspective, they have Sidney Crosby, who is arguably the best player in the entire world, playing on the second line center. So when you kind of think about that, that's a little crazy how deep they are. They got Malkin centering the first line. He's the Art Ross Trophy winner, top scorer in the league in points. And they have Jordan Stahl centering the third line. And they have a 40-goal scorer in James Neal. They have Pasquale Dupuis, Chris Kunis, this grinders and guys who have been there, have playoff experience, and know how to get the job done. And then you have Chris Letang, who is one of the best defensemen in the league, also with Brooks Orpik, who is one of the most feared blue liners in the league for his devastating hits. His open ice checks are um, they're brutal. And then you got Marc-Andre Fleury in net. He is sensational, one of the best goalies in the league. He's had a career year this year, so we'll see how far that takes him in the postseason. Looking good though for this Penguin team. I'm liking this Penguin team a lot. Obviously, having Crosby back helps them. He is, I mean, he's the heart and soul of their team. Obviously, captain. It's Sidney Crosby. I mean, come on. But and as far as the Flyers go, their best postseason player and Daniel Briere is out in an injury. Um, Supposed to return early in the series, but who knows? But they don't have Chris Pronger. They haven't had him for the whole year. That really hasn't stopped them making the playoffs, but that's going to hurt them going deeper, especially if they do get past this first round, which I don't think they will. Not having Pronger will definitely hurt them. He is a huge presence back there. Um, and let's see, as far as their goaltending, Ilya Bryzgalov has shown flashes of brilliance. He is my player to watch in this series. He will. I think he's going to make it go to the 7 games that it will go to. But look for him to be good. He's had some good postseason years with Phoenix. He's done well in the postseason. Just he's never been on the right teams to make it far. But unfortunately for him and the Flyers, I think they will get defeated um, by the Pittsburgh Penguins in 7 games. So that's going to be a great matchup, though. That's my number one matchup, or my number one series to watch. It's going to be phenomenal. Going to be it's old school. Uh, it's old school hockey. It's going to be great. So try to catch as much of that series as you can. Uh, Hope you guys liked the video, and I'll be posting another video soon once this first round's over for the semifinals. So glad you guys watched, and let's go Hawks.